Belling the Cat. Once upon a time, in a cozy little house nestled among gentle hills and flower-filled gardens, lived a family of soft, cuddly mice. They were cheerful creatures, living quietly within the walls, nibbling crumbs and playing games of hide-and-seek. Life would have been perfectly happy if not for one thing: the cat who lived in the same house. She was a sleek, clever creature with sharp eyes, swift paws, and silent footsteps. The mice always had to stay alert, for the cat would suddenly appear without warning, sending them scurrying back to safety. "Oh dear," sighed the oldest mouse one evening. He adjusted his small glasses and shook his head. "We cannot go on like this. We must find a solution." All the mice nodded eagerly, their little noses twitching nervously. But what could they possibly do? "We should have a meeting," said the oldest mouse gently. "Let's gather tonight in the big room near the fireplace." That evening, when the house grew quiet and shadows danced across the walls, the mice carefully crept out. They gathered together, forming a small circle under the warm glow of the firelight. "Now, dear friends," said the oldest mouse softly, "we must find a way to know when the cat is coming, so we have time to hide." "I wish she wore boots," whispered one little mouse shyly, making everyone giggle softly. Then a young mouse jumped up excitedly, his eyes sparkling with a bright idea. "I've got it!" he squeaked eagerly. "We should hang a little bell around the cat's neck. Every time she moves, we'll hear the bell ringing and know she's coming." The mice gasped in wonder and excitement. What a brilliant idea! "That's perfect!" cried another mouse happily. "Yes, yes!" squeaked the others, jumping and clapping their tiny paws. "It will solve all our problems." The little mice began celebrating, dreaming of carefree days, safely nibbling crumbs without worry. But as their excitement quieted down, the oldest mouse gently cleared his throat. "Ahem. It is indeed a very clever idea," he said softly. "But tell me, dear friends, who will be brave enough to put the bell around the cat's neck?" Silence filled the room. The mice looked nervously at each other. Their excitement melted away as quickly as snow under the warm sun. One by one, they began shaking their little heads sadly. "Not I," said one mouse quietly. "Not I," whispered another, lowering his tiny ears. And soon, all the mice realized that although the plan sounded wonderful, none of them could actually do it. The oldest mouse nodded kindly, understanding their feelings. "Sometimes, friends," he said gently, "a good idea isn't enough if we don't have the courage or the plan to carry it out." The mice sighed softly, realizing the truth in his words. "But don't be too disappointed," the old mouse continued, comforting them. "Perhaps our answer isn't in bravery alone, but also in carefulness and teamwork." From that day onward, the mice became wiser. They learned to take turns watching carefully, alerting each other at the slightest hint of the cat's silent paws. They built tiny secret pathways within the walls and became careful listeners, always staying alert and never taking unnecessary risks. And though they still dreamed of placing a bell around the cat's neck, they learned an even more valuable lesson: that by working together and looking out for one another, they could keep themselves safe and happy. As the seasons passed, the mice grew happier again, still playing games of hide and seek, enjoying their cozy home, and always staying watchful together. The cat continued to roam quietly, but she found it harder and harder to catch the clever mice, who now moved together, carefully and wisely. Every evening, as the fire flickered gently, the mice would gather again. They would share stories, enjoy crumbs, and cuddle warmly together. They understood now that courage comes not only from bravery, but from friendship, wisdom, and caring for one another. Under the soft moonlight streaming through the window, the oldest mouse often reminded them gently, "Remember, dear friends, bravery alone does not solve all our problems. True strength lies in unity, patience, and careful thinking." Then, the mice would nod sleepily, smiling warmly as they curled up closely together. They knew their lives might never be perfectly free from danger, but they also knew that together they could overcome anything. And so, in their little cozy house, surrounded by hills, gardens, and softly twinkling stars, the mice lived happily and safely, always watchful, always careful, and always together.